was doing, I always went into my inner creative to kind of just bring those kind of things alive for me. And I decided that I wanted to do something creative, and I went into studying interior design. And that's when chemistry lab came along. A friend of mine used to call me chemistry all the time in high school.
Kem. Hola, Kem.
My mom used to call me Kemi a lot, and my family, my friends, they used to call me Kemi. And then my friends in high school kind of remixed it into chemistry lab. Or chemistry, sorry. So they call me chemistry, and I hated it. Absolutely hated that name. I was always just like, guys, that's not a cool nickname. Like, I'm cool. That's not cool. Let's not do it. And when I got into interior design, I sat there and I thought, like, okay, well, if I was to do something really cool and really creative, what would I call it? And I just thought the chemistry lab, like it's...
So it wasn't cool until it became cool?
Yeah, until I made it cool. I had to make it cool.
Until you took ownership of it.
Yes, yeah.
Let's talk about your upbringing.
Yes.
Right? Take us back to, your influences. How did you end up being a hip-hop head? How did you end up being passionate about interior? Like all of that. What were the separate components that became the lady we see in front of us here?
So I'm from Lesotho. Both my parents are born and raised in Lesotho. I was born there as well and raised for a little bit before I moved to South Africa. My dad influenced my music taste a lot. I listened to everything he listened to. It was a lot of jazz, a lot of South African jazz, a lot of American jazz as well. And I used to kind of just replay those like sounds in my head all the time, just the melodies and stuff like that, and I'd pick it up in hip-hop. And my sisters, I had two older sisters as well, very into the culture. Like they were TLC looking. My other sister really loved like Big Pun. She really loved like that kind of like hip hop. And I kind of would just relate what I was listening to from my dad and then the influence from my sisters and put that together. And that's how my love for hip hop came along. My love for design, I think it was just a mixture of my mom's influence as well. She's very into color coordinating, and she loves to pick and choose all these different things and kind of make them into like one sound influence that you can see is like her personality. And I used to pick that up a lot on how she decorated, how she dressed. And for me it just I guess more than influence, it just like made me also care about those things. So my mom found a scrapbook that I made when I was like 7 years old that I totally forgot about, that was like buried somewhere in an old house that we sold. She found that book and she gave it to me like recently and showed me that like I'd been like, putting in images together, mood boarding, like just, I don't know, using my taste and my eye to kind of just make my own vision of things. And that's how I guess that all started, yeah.
So this has been your thing, like before it was given a name.
Genuine. I think before I even knew what like mood boarding was, before I even knew like what, like just aesthetics, before I even knew what that was, I just kind of understood it. Yeah.
What would you say is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job?
Yeah.
It's working for myself.
It's also the worst part, isn't it? What a cuck person.
There's pros and cons. But I think mostly working for myself, mostly because I get to really make my own vision come alive. It's very difficult when you're kind of told what the vision should be, and you must find within you to kind of bring someone else's visions alive, bring also someone else's work alive. I love the fact that I get to bring my own ideas alive. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a month like this, a lot of things happen right around the female experience, and there's a lot of conversations that get had.
Yes.
But what I've come to notice, and again, I'm looking in from the outside, so dare I even say this, is that there are pockets of conversations that aren't being had.
Yes.
You hear a lot of women say, but I'm not hearing this, or I'm hearing a repetition of this conversation. Not to put you under pressure, but what for you is not a conversation that's been held up enough, is you're not hearing enough dialogue around it, and you feel like needs to be brought to the table. Women, men, everybody society as a whole needs to talk a little bit more about.
I'd like to say how men gatekeep industries.
There's
a lot of men who are gatekeeping industries that are dominated by women, which is insane to me, because we are the influence of most of the trends that are happening, but the yes and the no at the end of the day is majority men that are making that decision. So I think that's a conversation that we need to have. I experience that in interior design a lot. It is sexually gatekept.
Gatekeepered. I'm keeping that one in my dictionary. My urban lingo.
And it is also racially being that word.
Gatekept.
Only.
So, there's a lot of battles being a woman and then also being black in a design industry based on these conversations that we're not being had about the gatekeeping.
Sure. That's an interesting one because, and this is my ignorance more than anything else, the conversation that has been had for the longest time hasn't been so much the gatekeeping as it has been representation.
Yeah.
So to hear that, yes, there is some gains, I'm assuming you're saying, being made from a representation perspective and like giving women opportunity and allowing for it to happen. But the fact that there's still gatekeeping. So it's like there are women in the industry, but they're not really able to get anywhere because they're gatekeepers. Kind of like, blows my mind. But anyway. Music you've told us about.
Yes.
What are you reading? Are you a big reader?
Honestly, no. I'm actually not.
She's the first person to be honest.
Thank you. We appreciate you for that. Hey? Some people might off and you're like, why'd you do that?
I won't lie to you. It's one of my personality flaws. I wish I could.
It's not a flaw. Don't go worry about it.
I wish I read.
Don't listen to me. You should read. You should
really
read,
love
girl.
I really love to watch. Like I watch a lot of like YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I listen to podcasts. So I really, if someone's gonna talk to me, I'd rather listen to them than read.
Right? Who needs a book?
Oh, exactly.
Audio books are plenty.
Of course.
As long as you get the information, that's what matters. How you got it.
Exactly.
Neither here nor there.
So take us through some of these. So Chemistry Labs does interior design, and what's the other services that you provide?
So I started off as interior designer. I'm still very much rooted in interior design.
Yeah.
I have decided, however, to take a shift into branding, digital branding, creative directing, art directing, pretty much the same thing. And just brand identity. It's digital work,
So how did that idea come about? So you were like, okay, interior designing is not enough. So let me just...
So it started off with the fact that one, a lot of things have shifted into digital platforms, right? We are moving into a very digital world. And weirdly enough, even before I even understood what digital marketing was or anything digital was, I didn't realize how inside this digital world I already was. I come from the background of like Tumblr. I was a Tumblr girl. I grew up loving going on seeing people make cool like profiles and mood boards on there, moving on to Pinterest and stuff like that. So I'd always been in that space of wanting something that was going to be digital based, just based on that. And then we shifted into this whole new like world where, digital is becoming the thing. And I didn't really realize how prepared I was based on the fact that I grew up like on Tumblr and all those things, how prepared I was for this time. So I just decided that, I can do it all.
Why not?
Why not? No one can really tell me I can't. I'm good at it. I'm qualified in interior design, and while I was studying interior design, I did learn a lot about graphics. I learned a lot about just basically how to be beyond your work and brand your work. I learned that in interior design, and digital was always the best space for me. Everyone's there. Everyone that I know is there. My friends are there. People that I don't know across the world are there. People who are in places I'm trying to be in. They're all in the digital space, and that's how I can reach them. It's the easiest way I can reach them. So that's how I then decided, interior design is great, and I love the work that I do in interior design, but there's more to do, I guess.
I can imagine that keeps you quite busy. So
it does. I will lie, it really does.
So tell me, what does a day in the life of Kemang look like?
Let's do this. Let's take a break. We come back. We'll talk about a day in the life. Let's take a musical break.
Hey.
Nipsey. And it's crazy how like before he passed, one of the last videos he made was the one where he's with his grandmother.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the story that he's telling there, the fact that you're able to toast on a private jet with your brand sponsor on the thing,
Do you know
flying.
what I mean?
Come on, man. Now I'm just upset. I'm done with the show. I'm sad. You guys continue.
I'm sad, man.
Sharp. I'm writing. Yeah, but may he rest in peace.
Yeah,
may
no.
he rest in peace. His music lives on, and I think his legacy in many ways lives on in the hood. Like, you know?
Of course,
It's
of
very
course.
inspirational.
Of course.
Dude, that guy had an incubator like in the hood. Not like he was starting some. But anyway, we're getting. It's becoming.
Sele
Nipsey
mo ka
FM.
Nipsey Hussle, Sele show ya.
I saw the power of Shiki, power of Nips.
Before we went into the Nipsey Hussle song, we were just about to talk about a day in the life
Yes.
of Kemang. What happens? How to Kemang or robala kana Kemang o etsang?
Okay, so a freelancer's life, as anyone who knows a freelancer, is very, very, very different from 9 to 5. I don't work in the same hours that 9 to 5 people work in, but I am still working in the same hours people 9 to 5 work in. So I wake up quite early, actually. My body clock wakes me up at like 6:30, sometimes 5:30. But I chill, I gather my thoughts, I journal. I love to listen to music as well, just to get myself like in the mood I want to get into for the day. I pray, and then around, I think like 8:30, I get up, make my coffee, and I don't start my day until the space around me is clean. So I spend maybe an hour to 2 hours going through my place, trying to sort myself out and stuff like that. So possibly start working at around 10:30, 11:30. So I've cleaned, I've eaten. 10:30, 11:30, I open up my laptop, and then I plan my day, and then I look at what I need to do. I usually start with the fun stuff. I love starting with the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Just the creative stuff, the stuff that really doesn't require like admin work, just to like, warm me up. And it's like, it kind of gets you in the mood to work because it's fun, you know what I mean? So it gets you in the mood to work, like you get in that workflow without it being too heavy. And then I take a break in the afternoon. I am so lucky that I get to work from home. I've been working from home since I started working for myself. And I'm also very, very lucky that I have a super strong support system. My parents, my 2 sisters, and I live very, very close, actually embarrassingly close to one of my sisters. And she is...
Next door.
No, genuinely.
About embarrassingly, like, I was thinking the same thing.
Embarrassingly next door. Like, I go down a flight of stairs and she's there.
Wow.
Not even
Same.
And that, for me, that is like the greatest blessing I've had in a very long time, because she kind of just reminds me that like there's work to do. So whenever like I take a break and my break is for too long, I just remember that like, oh, she's downstairs, she's working, like so I need to quickly get onto my like, my grind as well. And it's also really nice, like when I take breaks, I go downstairs and I get to see like my nieces and stuff, and they also kind of just like, and I have a niece who will remind me all the time that like, hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like she'll ask me like, how much money do you make? And
girl, where my sweet money at?
Like she's always asking me these crazy questions, and I'm like, she will remind me that like I'm not working hard enough, because she'll just be like, well, where's this at? Where's that? Why don't you have this? Why don't you have? And I'm like, okay, I need to go back upstairs.
I thought you were working for yourself. Doesn't look like it.
Working for your niece.
You're working for your niece.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's such a great like motivation. So that's pretty much my day. Like I'll go back and work again after taking a break, and then at around 6 I'll stop, have dinner, chill, watch some series, stuff like that. And I know this is bad, like I should be sleeping on time, I should be waking up on time, but I will sleep at like midnight, because I can decide at like 10, 11 p.m. that, oh, I feel like, doing something. I feel like, oh, like an idea will come to my mind, and I'll just open my laptop and I'll work. And I don't really manage that work time. So like if I get onto my laptop at like 11 p.m., I could chill until like 2 and not even notice, and fall asleep, and then my body clock gonna wake me up at 5:30.
But that's the blessing of working for yourself in a way, and working from home, right? Like you work when you're most effective.
Yeah.
Like if you chilled all day and all you did was play with your niece and ate sweets, right? It'll be okay, because you get the work done between, let's say, 10 and 12 midnight. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
And it also comes with it enjoying your job. I mean, I'm not gonna set up at 11 for something that I don't really like. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ke kopa bofa. Nna ke rata bofa na lona ba ngwetsi. Ke look bopa.
Ska ba fa ngwana bang. This is a family show.
I know. You nasty. Anyway. What? Daddy, sorry, it wasn't me.
Sorry.
There's a lot of talk in our circles as black young professionals or business people or whatever the case is about this idea of black excellence, right? And I'm of the impression that sometimes there's a group of people who've decided that they are going to coin it and own it.
Yes.
And I don't think that's necessarily, they're monopolizing black excellence. And that's not how I vibe. Like everybody thinks that black excellence, we're all in suits, kind of kicking babosa in that world.
Yeah.
Hearing it from somebody who's in the creative space that you're in, how would you define black excellence? What is black excellence to you?
Oh, that's a very good question.
You can even just throw out names, words, anything that comes to mind. What sticks?
Okay, for me, black excellence is, I think, being able to own everything that is in your life. For me, that's black excellence. Sorry. I believe in it being something that's. Gosh, you put me on the spot.
You look like a waffle. Like bop you.
Because I think the weird thing is that I actually have an answer to this, but I think I just didn't expect this question.
No, but
I
really,
think
take your
about this all
time
the
and be honest.
I think it is owning everything that you have in your space, and I mean that being your ideas, owning your the space that you occupy, even, and the people that subscribe to you, and the people that invest in you. You need to be able to look them in the eyes and know that, like, who they thought you are, who they think you are, is who you are. I'd rather be myself and someone invest in me knowing who I am than an idea of what Kemang or Chemistry Lab should be, which is exactly why I wanted to work for myself, because I couldn't stand the idea of building someone else's ideas and building someone else's dreams up. Because for me, I might be like the head creative director at a really reputable like firm, but it's not mine, and that's not black excellence to me, because I'm gonna go back home and basically spend my time thinking about your stuff and not my own stuff.
There's no legacy transfer.
Yeah, there's no legacy transfer, and I feel like making a decent living and being able to afford like. Really, like, I like things. I really love beautiful things. Like I want to see myself like on a yacht.
Come on with a girl.
I want to see myself
in Dubai.
Come on.
Not in Dubai. I want to see myself like in Italy. I want to see myself like in in my New York apartment. I want to see myself like
soft life, things.
Stuff like that. I want to fly my parents and my family to come visit me in San Francisco in my little mansion there. I have so many plans, but
you want to argue with Mark Zuckerberg over coffee in San Francisco? Be like, yeah, bro, but actually what you developed is nonsense. You don't let that be life.
But I want to know that, like, that's not on borrowed money or borrowed time. Black excellence for me is like, it's my own stuff. Like, I want my
ownership is king or
ownership
queen.
Is key.
It's the whole royal family.
Yeah.
Yep. On that note, as we wrap up,
Mo just shut us up basically. He's like, I'm done with this interview. But he's right, because we are done.
I mean, we could talk for the next hour, but then the power of she.
Yes.
When you hear those words, what do those mean to you? What does that sentence mean to you?
The power of she, what it means to me is the source of life, really. I think the source of where everything comes from, the source of creativity, the source of just life. Honestly, life comes from women. We are literally the portal between what's not here and what's here. We bring life into this world. We turn spirits into actual human beings and bodies, and then from there, those human beings and bodies create things. We occupy the space on this earth. We destroy it, or we could build it. And I feel like the power of she is so strong and so embedded in everything. I think it's everything. I think it's really just what we do as people. That's the power of she.
There we go.
And on that note, folks, is how we wrap it up.
It's a wrap.
I mean, yet about deep this rap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, people are spitting bars in interviews. By the way, we are the conduit between spirits and the real world.
We really are.
Where do we find you on socials really quickly as we wrap?
So my personal socials are at Kemang B, and Chemistry Lab, it's at Chemistry Lab Studio. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to say?
We'll see you on
Thank you
Wednesday.
for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you for
It was,
having me.
it was very enlightening.